Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel today. Today we're keeping with our promise of bringing you top agents from around the United States. And today we're with my good friend Harris here, and Harris is in Vancouver, Washington. Harris, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you got into real estate. Tell us your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I got into real estate, in '04. So we're heading on 21 years of service this year, which is pretty fun. I always did retail sales, really liked it. I was back one of those guys that was in the part of the Circuit City clubs and Fry's Electronics. What I found through there was that I really liked meeting people, being relational, building rapport with people, having people come back to me, just buying electronics back from me. And it was nice, smooth, and easy. And then at some point, we just kind of outgrew that and we were ready for the next thing. So a few of us friends were starting to consider different options, housing being one of them. Always had a passion for cars. So like cool cars maybe being one of them. And at the end of the day, I figured out, everybody always needs a house. So that seems like a really safe space to be into that's going to be in good demand. So that was about 21 years ago now. So pretty nuts that it's been that long.
So I know for a fact, Harris, I've known you for a long time. I know you ground really hard when you first started. So like how did you start up? I mean, I think you went around and talked to individual businesses, and I've heard stories about you, someone said, I want to do something, and you showed up. So how did you get started?
Yeah, no, good question. So I was currently, at the retail store at Fry's, and I was just ready to be done with that and moving to the next chapter. But that's pretty scary, right? You're leaving a well-paid job to go start something new. So I set mini goals for myself. I don't know why, but it seems like my life operates in threes somehow. But I ended up saying, when I close 3 deals, when I have 3 pendings and I have 3 active clients, I'm putting in my notice and quitting. And so I was like, well, how do I get there? So first thing I did is, it's so funny thinking back, right? But got a shirt and tie, and I was like, okay, I need to go where people are, because my sphere was just not very good. My family is a immigrant from Bosnia, escaped the war country. Everybody we knew just wasn't well off, didn't own homes. Everybody was renting, low income and stuff, just kind of getting going. And so I was like, I just need to go where people are. So I literally just log on to our MLS, printed off some homes, and kind of made little flyers and just stapled them in my card on it. And then just went door knocked businesses in downtown Vancouver and just said, hey, I'm Harris, I'm a local realtor. Who in here is thinking about buying a house? Got some weird looks. Some people were friendly, and ended up doing that. And then one of the spots, one of the guys said, oh, cool. Actually, my dad's thinking about buying a house. And I was like, no way, what's his name? Got his info. And then fast forward, that was in contract and closing 30 days later into the business. And
that's pretty impressive, right? Because it takes most people much longer. I have a very similar story myself. I think I sold my first house in 30 days. So that's cool that you did it in 30 days, right? So to all you new agents out there that might be watching this, right? There is a path, right? And today what we're going to talk about is that path. And that path for Harris. Harris, how many houses does you and your team sell a year?
Yeah, we were running anywhere from 75 to 100. So,
okay, so that is a absolutely phenomenal number, you guys. And Harris doesn't have a massive team. But yeah, how many people are on your team, Harris?
Yeah, there's 4 of us total.
So 4 people doing 75 to 100 transactions. And by the way, Harris is with Keller Williams in Vancouver. But how do you do it, Harris? I think you refer to the 3 R's as your secret sauce. So tell us a little bit that, you got started and you just kept doing this stuff, but there had to have been something you did consistently over and over and over that built you to the level that you're currently at.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a single agent doing all the work myself. I had a lot of exposure to cool teams and these mini groups and all kinds of stuff, and never really had any interest in it. I think the idea of leverage and having somebody else help was kind of scary, because I think anytime you're all hands on deck and doing all the work yourself, you also have this sense of pride and also slight ego, I think, where you're I can do this best and I got it. And, so I was doing a lot of comparison, with hey, so-and-so has a team, but they've only made this much or done this much, and I've done this and I did it by myself, and there was 3 of me, and that kind of stuff. And then so it's just interesting to kind of that growth mode that happened, because I went through a phase of growing, and actually what helped me was generally I was just trying to do a really good job for people. I made promises and I delivered on those promises, and I said I would show up, and I showed up, and I did it. I was being really personal, because some of the lessons from Fry's and Circuit City were hey, people liked meeting with me, talking with me. I put people at ease. I took the time to listen. I never oversold. If somebody said, I need this camcorder for whatever, I never sold them like the $3,000 one. I sold them the $700 one because that's what they actually needed. So that trust and that relationship really was born, and it kept going that way. And that's what kept it going. So I ended up taking those same lessons into real estate. And what started happening was I started graduating from 20-ish homes to 30 homes to 40-ish homes to like 50 homes by myself. And so I was like, okay, I need help now, right? Like at this point, now you have 2 people calling that want to meet on a Saturday at 1 o'clock, and it's no longer doable. So you do the song and dance of like, oh gosh, I'm in high demand right now, or gosh, I wish I could be at 2 places at once. I already have a prior commitment or whatever. So I started focusing in on like, what am I really good at? So even in my own mind, I started figuring out that I really like meeting people. I like making a plan, and that I enjoyed when somebody else would take over. And then they would actually take to the finish line. And that was their pride and joy. So ended up grinding really hard. I mean, we're talking, 8 a.m. in the office, 8 p.m. leaving, like just 12 hours a day, making calls, showing up at people's houses, door knocking, whatever it took to get it to this point. In the meantime, we were really good about being relational and just actually like listening to people, caring for them, and strategic. Like through that, we were very direct about saying, hey, did you like how I helped you? Did you enjoy this experience? Great. Who else do you know I can help? I would love your referral. Can I count on your referral? Do you 100% refer me? Am I the only agent you refer? Like these really good questions that really made people go, yeah, you're right, I do, or I want to, or I will, or whatever. So we almost had like a lot of commitments, and that helped the team grow. And then as we had more needs, specifically on the buyer side, that side grew. And then we added teammates that were able to help and kind of help us like execute and kind of get things to this level. And now after a few years of kind of just doing a lot of stuff that did work or didn't work or whatever, we all kind of sat down together and said, look, we need to figure out what's working and what's not working, and we need to get rid of the junk. So a lot of people have these, 5-6 page business plans and a bunch of data and numbers and GPS reports and all kinds of stuff. And I think we had a moment of clarity where we said, wait, what actually matters here? It's like how we're doing it, how we make people feel, how do they relate to us, what do they think of when they hear our name as a company or us as individuals. And then that day, what we call a triple R was born, which is we're going to remove all the distractions, all the craziness, all the extras, and we're just going to focus on 3 R's, which is building relationships, asking for referrals, and then following up with asking for reviews. And every week when we have our meeting, we discuss those topics, or we discuss them through the week. Hey, I did this for a triple R. I did that for a triple R. I did that triple R. Usually we're just like hashtagging triple R to whatever we're, discussing. And it could be like sending cards, visiting somebody, having a meeting, and then just being really relational, I think is what got us there. That's probably the most important, of the 3. Is hearing people where they are, because we've had, like last week, I talked to a couple of people that met with that wanted to sell their homes, which is your dream, right? Like, hey, come sell my house. And after talking to them, I was like, I don't think you should sell your house. You need to rent it. Here's why. You told me, this home was a college, tuition payout, essentially. Your kid has 2 more years of school. Comps aren't as favorable in your neighborhood. You'd sell for less now, things like that. I'm like, why don't you just rent it for 2 years longer? And let's just revisit this then. I'm confident we'll make more money and this will be better for you. And same for another one, similar situation. And then one of them asked, like, well, how do you make money here? How do you get paid? I don't, what I mean? You're not part of this anymore. And I'm like, I don't, but I'll see you in 2 years or whenever you're ready. So
I think that right there is like, I think that's a very key point right there, because like you heard all this stuff about real estate agents, right? Oh, they're hungry, they're greedy, they have commission breath. Harris doesn't at all. In fact, he just told somebody like, hey, wait 2 years, right? And I think you need to get to that point in your career where you're no longer worried about the money. And this happened for me in real estate probably 15 years ago. I just, I thought about it and I was like, oh, like if I just help people, right, the money will come, right? I will get paid and the thing. But if you just put yourself out there, and this goes for everybody who's watching this, right? Like put yourself out there. offer to be of service, right? If you can be of service to somebody, then you don't have to worry about the money. Because I mean, like, gosh, Harris is selling more than most real estate agents anywhere sell, right? You know, he's selling a phenomenal amount of houses. He's not begging for the business. He doesn't have to, right? Because people just simply call him and say, hey, what's the best thing? In fact, I just referred a client to Harris, and you know, like I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that they will list with him when the time is right, and he'll get the job done because he's an absolute professional and he builds these amazing, strong relationships. So that's awesome, Harris.
Yeah, I think, you know, so part of this, I think, is just, and we've talked about this as a team, like, you work really hard at doing all the stuff, the big stuff, the little stuff that matters, because then you can help more people. You're not attached to the outcome. You can give genuine good advice. And people feel that too. It's so different, you know. Like, I met with somebody else recently that this lady was just so guarded. She was like, I'm not signing anything. I'm not doing anything. Like, I mean, she was like ready to fight. And I was like, whoa. I said, slow down. I said, I just have my phone on me at my business card. I didn't bring anything to sign. And she's like, okay, good. Because I met with this other guy. He was saying this, and same thing with her. You'd think I'm not in business of home sales, but I met with her, and her biggest concern was, I'm just tired of the upkeep and all the stuff this house needs. But after I talked to her, I was like, you just remodeled the kitchen, you just did the floors, you did all HVAC, you did the roof. I said, what's left? What are you afraid of? And she's like, oh, it was just a big house. I was like, I think you already did it all. So is there anything left that worries you? And she's like, well, not really. I was like, sounds like you should stay. And she's like, okay. And I was like, great, let's do that. If you get a different conclusion a week from now or a month from now, give me a call. I'm still here. And she was like, awesome. So one last story and then we can move on. But a gal called me a few years ago. Same thing. You referred to me. I want to sell a house. I was like, okay, cool. And I just didn't sense like excitement in her voice. Usually people are like, hey, I want to sell. When can you come over? There's something like you can feel it, right? And there was kind of none of that. So I just asked her. I said, hey, I'm going to be a little direct. I know we just met, but you don't seem excited at all to meet me. Like, you seem kind of blah and down. So what's really going on? And she said, well, I really like my house. I just don't want to sell it. And I was like, okay, well, why are you selling it to begin with? She said, well, I had a job and COVID, whatever, lost, you know, things like that, position eliminated, got a new job. And I just don't make enough really to like live here. And I was like, well, dang, so you like your house? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what do you do? So we got into that a little bit. And I said, well, it sounds like you called the wrong person. You need a job recruiter. You don't need a realtor, you know, so let me help you with that. So I was like, send me your resume. So then I ended up talking and calling some people and whatnot. I made a Facebook post or whatever. Ended up getting her 3 opportunities, and then she took one. She got a job. Never sold her house.
That's so awesome.
So it's like, so, you know, and back to the 3 R's, like right. Relationships.
So that's the capital R right there is relationships, right? So that, I mean, like, just doing the right thing. It can't be about the money. It absolutely can't be about the money. It has to be about helping people. You know, and you heard a lot of realtors say, I do this to help people, right? Like, you truly do this to help people, because I've known Harris for, gosh, we worked at Circuit City together. Like, I don't know, that was like 30 years ago. Like, I see his posts all the time about just different things. Like, he does this coffee spice giveaway every year, right? Just, you know, it says, hey, if you've done anything with me or even talked or commented, put a like and I'll send you a Starbucks card, right? So he's just about doing these really, really cool things. So I think that's the capital R. Let's talk about the next phase, right? Which is referrals, right? Like, I love that you're asking directly for referrals, and you did that from the start. So, like, how does that become a non-awkward situation? Like, how do you spin that? How do you have your teammates do that for you?
Yeah, no, good question. I think as realtors, we think too much about it, right? Because every other industry, I mean, like, I met with a financial advisor, and at the end of that, he goes, great, did you have a good meeting? I said, yeah, this is great. He says, perfect. Now, I have 3 blank spots here. So what are the 3 names that other people I should talk to? I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you can call my friend. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's a good meeting. Why wouldn't I connect you with somebody else? And then every other industry too asks for referrals. So each client's a little different, but we always just ask, hey, you know, was this great? You know, would you use this again? Yeah, I would. Great. Awesome. Who else do you know is moving? You know, or usually once they have their offer accepted and things are going, then we'll say, hey, you know how you think about a red car, they see a red car everywhere. Now you're talking to people buying a house or moving, so probably other people are going to talk about the same thing. I said, hey, are you comfortable, you know, connecting us with somebody that's thinking about buying or selling? Yeah, of course I am. Perfect. You know, so who comes to top of mind? Nobody right now. Okay, great. Keep me in mind. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it. So, and then also towards closing, hey, awesome. Hey, your keys are almost here. How cool. You know, I'm about to be unemployed. Like, who else do you know is thinking about moving? you know? And then generally people are like, oh yeah, let me know. Well, usually what happens is like, oh yeah, I've talked to Joe at work or whatever. So I think the key point is to say, hey, can you start a group text between me and Joe and you? And then I can just say hi and I'll take it from there. Promise I'll be great. Promise I'll be kind or whatever. And I'll just see what they're thinking. So, and that tends to kind of help move the needle forward.
Yeah, I think that group texting idea is great because a lot of people through the referral process, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell a house? Oh yeah, I'll tell so-and-so about you. That's absolutely probably not the best way to do it, right? The best way is to do what Harris just said. And this is the way I do it as well, right? When I have a referral for anybody, like I just did with Harris, I texted him with the client. I got the client's permission. I said, hey, do you mind if I connect you? I texted them and then I stepped completely out of the conversation. So refer, get out of the way, let the person you're referring to do the job because they're experts in their territory. But that group introduction on a text is a super, super powerful tool. And if you're not doing that, that might be a good option for you. And if you want to learn more, all of our information, both Harris's and I's, is in the information below. Just, send us a text message, give us a call. Harris is great about that. He's helped me. I've been in real estate actually for a year longer than Harris, but he does way more sales than I do. And so I call Harris all the time. And he helps me out, and he's taught me a bunch of stuff about it. And I'm super grateful for his time on this call, as well as just his willingness to help. All right. So that last R, right? Reviews. I think this is something you told me about 4 years ago when I was, not doing as well as I want to. He's like, man, well, where are your reviews at? You need to get more reviews. And I said, well, how do I do that, Harris? And he told me. So let's talk about your reviews.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is one thing we focused on, and it has been an absolute monster for us. And what started off is, we didn't really focus on a lot in the beginning because we're like, obviously we knew what Google was, right? But we were registered on there. We didn't really do anything. And then we started saying, we really need to focus on this part of it. So we started asking people, hey, can you do us a review? They'll be like, oh yeah, of course. Kind of went by the wayside. People just really wouldn't think of it. So we identified key points that, after people get a house, so they're like, hey, congrats, you have an offer signed around, they pass their inspection, and our part of it is more or less done, then it moves on to the lender. That's usually a great point to ask for a review. So what we do is we have a hyperlink that is just like a through Canva, and it goes directly to our Google reviews. And then that sends it to them. And then we'll just do a text and say, hey, could you please take 60 seconds to leave us a review? We'd love to share how we did with you and how else can, somebody benefit working with us. So, and generally people do it, especially if you're still in the mid transaction. So they go, oh yeah, of course, they're in there. We never want to ask at the end because people are busy and they're packing and moving and it's almost stealing their thunder because they're celebrating their time. They just bought a house. And then you're like, hey, here's your keys, but can you leave me a review? So we started doing that way ahead of time because okay, our part's done. We can collect that review and then truly enjoy their process later and celebrate closing versus asking for a review. So that's been critical. So now, if you look us up on Google, we have 505 5-star reviews, and we're starting to just get found a lot more organically for people searching for realtors. So we don't pay for any advertisements or special ads or pay-per-clicks or any of the stuff. It's all organic searches. So it just keeps kind of compounding on what we've done. So, and it's great because it gives you a chance to tell your current sphere, hey, look what somebody said, which reconfirms the belief of I have the right realtor and good relationship there. And then it tells the new people that find you online, hey, I can't ignore this. This person has 500 reviews. And if that seems intimidating, we didn't have those to begin with, obviously. Our goal was let's get to 50. Then let's crush 100. Then it was huge deal because now we have 100. 100 is way better than 2 that we had. So we're dude, we have 100. This is amazing. So then after the 100, we did a little team competition. We're we got to reach out to people, whoever worked with so-and-so, we got to get back on this. So then in a matter of, a week, I think we collected 70 reviews. So then we were all over. So it was a very purposeful effort here. And then now we're just a lot more consistent. So as we're closing sales, we're just saying, hey, give this review. Only challenge is if somebody's left one before, they can't leave one again. So any repeats and comebacks, they already kind of one and done, they can maybe update it, but it only counts once. So, but that's been huge because that tells people our story a little bit, and it's way better when somebody else writes it. And then how we use it is if somebody, if we are interviewing with somebody to list, we bring those reviews and we say, hey, have you looked online? Have you read what people are saying? Here's what Susie wrote. That's interesting. You're in the same situation as Susie, and look what we did for her. And it just kind of reaffirmed of who we are and what we bring to the table. So huge move. So yeah, those triple R's is just, service people right. Don't be attached to the outcome. Do the right thing. Production and money will come. And I understand saying that now in these shoes, because I've been in these shoes watching somebody else say this. And it's always like, oh yeah, easy for you to say or whatever. But yeah, it took effort, took a lot of energy, took a lot of grind, but you're just like one step away from that move, right? Where you're like, this is what I'm going to focus on. And for somebody just starting out, like solid 6 months of every day thinking about like, what can I do to build a relationship? What can I do to like service people, be in front of them and connect? 6 months later, I guarantee your life looks different in real estate. So people are everywhere. You just need to talk to them and make sure they know about you.
Your story sounds a lot like Ryan Serhant. I don't know if you ever listened to his story, but
yeah, I did listen to his stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly what he did. He just did it in New York and, took it next level, but it was about relationships and just, he would go to Starbucks and just talk to people. So, like even if you're not new, right? I know there's a lot of agents out there that aren't transacting every month, right? Like 12 a year is actually really good for our industry. And there's a ton of people that don't even come close to that, right? So I follow almost the same model that Harris does. It's very relationship reviews. I just took a tip from you right there. Like I've always asked for reviews at the end once it's done, but that is a great tip. Like ask for it when your job is actually done, because you show up to the inspection. Do you go to your inspections? Like, hey, the inspection went great today. Looks like we got a clean thing. Hey, if you don't mind, could you leave me a review using this hyperlink that you built out, right? So, because I think that's really cool, not taking their thunder away when they're closing on a house, right? Because everyone's busy. I mean, you can have the best clients in the world, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm just so busy. And I absolutely love you. I just don't have time to. So do it early. That's a great, great tip. Well, are you Google screened, LSA, anything like that? Or you just have the reviews up there and let it do its thing?
Yep, that's it. Yep, awesome. We just have a business page on there. We went through, built it out, had some Q&A stuff on there, added some products, and then we just have consistent reviews that keep popping in there. So yeah, so that's been beneficial. That's the main one we focused on for reviews. We do have some like on Zillow page, about 150 or so, but those are, we'll see how that goes. Like the new world of, ChatGPT and where's it pulling data from and things like that, all it's always evolving where they can change, but right. I feel like that's still a current idea, but more future based. Google is still, even my 6-year-old says like, well, just Google it, Dad. So
that's awesome.
Even that 6-year-old brain, she's set up right now to say Google it. So I feel like a lot of generations are still like, oh, let me go to Google for this. So
yeah, absolutely.
And word of mouth obviously is huge. Being in front of people, staying connected to them, and we do a great job with being in front of our past clients, either with social media or some mailings that we send out, so we can still be like snail mail in front of them too. And so yeah, lots of there. But just service people do a great job, and I think the biggest lack or biggest miss that I see is people are very shy about asking for reviews or asking for referrals. And I think that's a huge miss. There's like nobody better to ask than a happy client that you just service that's so stoked they work with you that you're like, hey, who else do you know is moving? Come on, like somebody in your brain's got to pop up. And oh yeah, so from work, from church, from whatever, like awesome, introduce me. They'll let you take it. So I think people have this like think of me idea, like, hey, think of me for real estate. And thousands of people have probably asked me to think of them for something, and I don't think of them because it's like, it's gone. It's not relevant to me. So, but if somebody says, hey, who wants to buy a car today? I'm going to start thinking who has talked lately about buying a car. I'll find you a name, So, yeah, I think just be more intentional and purposeful on that front.
I think that's probably the best advice. In fact, we interviewed a guy that the video will be coming up about. His entire business is built off a network, referrals, right? He doesn't pay for any advertising, nothing like that. It's just going out, meeting with businesses and seeing who he can connect them with, right? That's the thing is, like a lot of people try this networking thing where they want to connect with you so you can send me business, right? I want to connect with you so I can connect you to a financial planner, a CPA, like whoever I know in my network that might be helping you. So it sounds like you did business that way and you're still doing business that way. And it's definitely working out for you. So the 3 R's, you guys, that is relationships, referrals, and reviews, right? And those have built an incredible business for Harris. I would imagine that Harris and his team have to be probably one of the top agents in Washington, probably the top agents in the country. And small team, good guys, gals, and they just do it.
Yeah, it's been great. I was looking at numbers the other day where we've closed over $500 million in volume sales and over 1,600 transactions, plus in the Vancouver area. And honestly, that's a ton. And the volume, I'm more proud of the transactions than the volume, because I remember some of the years 08, 09, like we were selling homes for like 104,000, so like it took a lot of homes to get to $1 million, right? It was like not a little bit what it is today or what it was some of the years. So yeah, it's but the most exciting thing is just being a resource, just having like people be like, hey, I heard you're the guy to call, or you're the team to call, or you got this. I think that's what is most exciting for us, is when we get those calls of like, hey, I hear you're the people to talk to if we want to move. So like I just sold somebody's house who they listed twice with somebody else and not sold. And then they called us and said, hey, like, gosh, I guess we should have called you to begin with, but here we are, da 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 da. And now we're pending, and they're so stoked that they're getting keys to their new house, and it's like a dream, So it's just, it's fun to be able to be that like solution maker in a situation and make stuff happen. So it's, yeah.
Harris has a cool hashtag. It's hashtag deal maker. And
yes.
and Harris is an absolute deal maker, and he makes deals happen. So if you are looking for someone to learn from, I think Harris would be more than happy to talk to you. And like his phone number and everything will be down and below, as well as if you are referring somebody to the Vancouver market, after somebody move into the beautiful Pacific Northwest, Harris would be a great resource for you. So Harris, we appreciate you jumping on the channel just to share your knowledge, because you have a lot of it to share. And congrats on such a successful business. And thanks for even helping me out, man. I absolutely appreciate it. And I know that I will absolutely call you in the future when I have questions, because like you've done it all.
Yeah, no, thank you. There's always more to learn and grow, but yeah, it's been a great ride. And yeah, thanks for having me on. And you've been great for Bend area referrals as well. So that's awesome. And it's fun too. We need more of this kind of stuff, right? Where we have interlinks from across the country. And I focus on that a lot. That's actually one of the huge things about referrals, is I've been very public about to my sphere saying, hey, you love me here, and I can get you like a stun double in Bend or New York or Arizona or whatever. So consistently like 10 to 12 referrals a year, or more, go out to different parts of the States. And it's awesome because I've had some, people in some tough spots, and they said, man, I'm so grateful that in this like really hard moment in my life, I didn't have to think of like, who's going to sell the house. Yep. This like angel walked through the doors and just did it. And it was great, so I think it's just, that's one of the core, it can be a referral locally, obviously, but plenty of calls are like, hey, you always said you could be in the spirit in Arizona. I was like, yes, I can. Let me get you somebody. So it's fun to do that as well.
Awesome. So if you guys want to learn more about relationships, comment below relationship, and we'll send you some highlights of this reel. You can call either of us. We'll be happy to help. Joshua Grossman, I'm with Epic Realty, but this channel is about six-figure agent secrets, and I'm sure that Harris makes much more than six figures. And there is his secret playbook for you to copy what he did. Thanks, Harris.
Yeah, R&D. Rip off and duplicate.
Rip off and duplicate all day long. You don't have to invent anything yourself. All right, we're signing off for now. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for our next video.